What does Colby Jones bring to DC, and where does he fit long term? And should the Washington Wizards add another center in the upcoming NBA draft? I think so. Come on, let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Don't forget, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, introducing the Locked On Wizards daily newsletter. A one-stop for the ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with all new free Locked On Wizards newsletter. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. And again, right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So definitely get involved with FanDuel. All right, everybody. Like I said, a lot to talk about tonight. Colby Jones, what does he bring to DC, and where does he fit long term? And should the Washington Wizards look to add another center in the upcoming NBA draft? I definitely think so. So we're going to look at the draft pick situation. Obviously, with a potential top three, you're probably not looking at center, but with your potential 27th overall pick, there are some good prospects that could be a really good center depth that can push Tristan Vukcevic, definitely push him in practice and see if, definitely make it a battle for that backup center position. So first things first, let's get into Colby Jones. Now, what does he bring to DC? So let's take a look at his scouting report real quick. Now, he is a 6'5", 6'6" guard / forward. And it says right here, scouting report says, quote unquote, 6'5" wing with court vision, makes quick decisions to find open teammates, always finds teammates in the dunker spot, gets by defenders with a chance of change of pace dribble, nice touch with floaters, solid defender who moves his feet well, can guard 1 through 3, great at contesting shots due to his patience, really fluid going over ball screens, solid catch and shoot player, but not too effective as a shooter off the dribble, inconsistent shooting mechanics, not too effective as an ISO scorer. So looking at the scouting report, what does that tell me about him? Now, his offense is a little raw. Now, is he athletic? Looking at his height, 6'5", 6'6", I can see him as a guy who can play the shooting guard and small forward. But what do I like about him? I mean, he has those guard instincts, right? I mentioned his court vision, really making quick decisions. That tells me high basketball IQ. That tells me that he could potentially be, not a point guard, but a guy who can definitely bring the ball up, definitely, be a playmaker, definitely create for others. So he's athletic. He can definitely put the ball on the floor, and definitely create for other teammates. So I like his intangibles, to be honest with you. Now, he obviously came over from the Sacramento Kings and the Jonas Valanciunas trade, sending Jonas over there for a couple of first-round picks, including, and then he sent over Alex Len and Colby Jones. So, but I think he is a very, very intriguing prospect. And I think that, he's just another, and when you add him in the mix with AJ Johnson, when you look at the 2 first-round picks that Will Dawkins was able to obtain, I think when you add in the fact that he got a couple of good prospects too, you're looking at 4 first-round picks. Now, especially when you're looking at AJ Johnson, where, he was the pick right before Keyshawn George, number 23. So he practically got another first-round pick. So again, it really shows you how Will Dawkins really capitalized at the trade deadline, man. I love what he did at the trade deadline. But like I said, Colby Jones is another young player to put in the mix. Now, the question is, where does he fit, right? Looking at the depth chart real quick, and obviously we're looking at next year, potentially, what players could be off the team. But looking at the second unit, now, like I said, he is 6'5", 6'6". He can play 2 guard and forward. Now, where does he fit? Now, this is where it's going to get a little tricky, because obviously you take Malcolm Brogdon off the board. Now, looking at the potential change in starting 5, I mean, obviously, if you pick a guy like Cooper Flagg, that pushes Keyshawn George to the second unit. Now, if you go guard, if you're looking at Dylan Harper, if you're looking at, because like I said, I mean, looking at a potential first round pick situation we have, I mean, some dynamics to look at is, could we slip into the top 5, not the top 3? Yeah, that is a very real possibility. Not a possibility that any of us want to happen, obviously, but say we go to top 5, say we get the 5th, not the 3rd to the 1st. Probably looking at Trey Johnson, the best shooting guard in the draft. So, like I said, opens up possibilities as far as the first unit. So, who would be relegated to the second unit? If you get a guy, but then you still got Chris Middleton. So, like I said, guys, there's a lot of dominoes that need to fall, because with Chris Middleton, and here's the thing: Chris Middleton's not a guy who's going to really hold down any kind of potential moves, because they're going to shop him all season anyway. So I really wouldn't look at Chris Middleton as any kind of blockage, because I think they're going to try to flip him at some point. But like I said, it really depends on the first unit. But looking at where does Colby Jones fit into the equation? I mean, the fact that he plays forward, you're gonna have Justin Shimpton, you're gonna have Corey Kispert, so he's gonna probably be backing both of those guys up. So you're probably looking at from the get-go, not a lot of minutes. Now, in event of injury, that's where you need him to step up. So, I mean, possibly you could be looking at him, spending more time with the Go-Go than with the Wizards early on. And I have no problem with that because, like I said, you definitely want for him to get all the reps he can get, whether it's on the Wizards or with the Go-Go. And the Go-Go has an immaculate record of getting guys ready to play at the highest level. So rest assured he's in good hands with the Go-Go. They know what they're doing over there, man. So give him extended minutes with the Go-Go. And then in the event of injury, or if they decide to move on Corey Kispert, that's another possibility. Then you plug and play and see you can get some minutes to him and see what he can do. But I think Colby Jones is a really intriguing prospect, man. Very, very intriguing prospect. So let's pull up his contract real quick because he's going to be around for a couple more years after the season. So I believe it's 1 more year and a team option because it is a rookie contract. So, yep, that is it. So we're going to pull up the numbers real quick. Waiting on my internet to act right. So, like I said, guys, I'm very intrigued by Colby Jones because, like I said, not only were we able to get a first-round pick in 2025 and 2026 and adding a young prospect and practically a first-round pick in A.J. Johnson, if you look at Colby Jones, he's a guy who, if given playing time, I think he adds a lot to the equation. Now, again, Fanspo. All right, here we go. So looking at – come on now. All right. My bad, guys. All right, so looking at his contract, let me pull him up real quick, trying to find the brother. Okay, Colby Jones. So next year he makes $2.2 million, and then the year after that he has a team option for 2.4. So like I said, I mean, we got him for 2 more years after this, so you might as well develop the kid, man. And like I said, I think he carries high potential. I mean, defensively, you already see you got to love his defensive potential and mechanics out the gate, man. Quick feet, very active in passing lanes. But his offense, you want to see a consistent shot. But I think that with reps, he's going to develop that. And again, whether it's with the Wizards or with the Kansas City Go-Go, he needs those reps. That's how you get better. So I think the kid has a lot of potential. So, I mean, you look at the contract, we got him for 2 more years after this season. So like to see if they can get him some minutes in the second half of the year. Now, of this season, that is. But that's the thing. Like I mentioned, when we looked at the depth chart, it was looking at next year. You still got Brogdon, on the team, Marcus Smart. So it's going to be hard to find him those consistent minutes with the Wizards. So why not put him on the Go-Go, let him do his thing? So you guys get in the comment section and let me know, do you agree, disagree, and why? But like I said, I'm very high on Colby Jones. And the biggest thing is where does he fit long-term, right? Because a lot of questions need to happen. And even if you look at the second unit just exclusively, obviously Brogdon's going to be off. But then Bub Carrington, probably going to be running your 2 guard, or not your 2 guard, but running the second unit, that is, as at point guard. Yeah, Marcus Smart, who's going to be around unless they try to flip him early in the offseason. But we'll see. I mean, if that happens, then you're probably looking at A.J. Johnson filling in the void. But that's a nice battle I like to see in training camp in preseason or 99 Summer League. I mean, I like to see them really battle it out for that spot. I like to see a competition between A.J. Johnson and Colby Jones, man. See who wants it, man. Why not? You definitely want to instill some fire of competition in this team. That's how you develop. That's how you rebuild. That's why culture is important. Not only, hold people accountable, is lighten that competitive fire. Get these guys, let these young guys earn their spot, in my opinion. So that would be one battle I like to see. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You would have to see some injuries or, and I think the Kansas City right now is the best chance for him to get extended minutes, guys. So I kind of stand by that. And like I said, he could play. I think that if you develop him right, he is a prospect who fits the timeline and who could be a really good player down the line, man. And he reminds me a lot of Justin Shipley to a certain degree, man, because you see the competitiveness, the athleticism, and he's 6'6", 6'5", guard 1 through 3. And like I said, under head coach Brian Keefe's system, it's a defensive system. So another guy who can defend. Obviously, he's a better defender than offensive player, even though he's shown, great potential being an offensive player at some point, kind of like Bilal. Kind of like, you can't really say Keyshawn because Keyshawn's already balling out offensively. But so you guys, like I said, I definitely encourage you guys to go online, look at the scouting report, look at some highlights, and tell me what you think. Let me know. B. Scott, I like what I see or I don't. But you guys definitely get in the comment section. Let me know, man, what do you think about Colby Jones, man? Definitely get out there and watch some highlight tapes, man. So, all right, guys, should have watched the Wizards target center in the upcoming draft? Yes, sir. I definitely think they need to with the prospective 27th overall pick. But before we get into that, tonight's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swish, you saves. Thanks to Dash Pass, excuse me. Every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day, the very next day. And simple, when a player scores 50 or more in a game during the 2024 and 2025 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. So look, man, if you, special weekends, especially Friday night, right? If you're drinking, if you're smoking, you don't want to drive nowhere, you don't want to take that chance, which you shouldn't, right? Definitely consider DoorDash, man. Like I said, if you see a guy like Anthony Edwards balling out, look, you get something out of it, man. So definitely get some deals from DoorDash, man, with your Dash Pass. So I definitely 100% recommend. So sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When a player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the very next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account, though, right? Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. All right, everybody, let's get back into this thing. So, should the Washington Wizards target a center prospect with their prospective 27th overall pick? Absolutely. I would definitely recommend they do so because, like I said, do I think that Tristan Vucevic could be the backup center of the future? Absolutely. You know, in a very short amount of time, he's improved. You see the potential with this kid, man. 7-footer who can stretch the floor, shoot from three, mid-range, put the ball on the floor to a certain degree, play with back to the basket. Not where you want him to be, but definitely, can definitely hit those hook shots in the post. So, like I said, he has a high potential to be the backup point guard, or not point guard, center of the future. See, look at me. The center of the future behind Alex Sarr. So, like I said, is he the long-term option as center as far as backing up Alex Sarr? I believe he can. But like I mentioned before, with a young team, you want to light those fires of competitiveness, right? You want people to earn their spot, man. And I think that with this team going younger, going to the future, that should be the MO. Battling out in training camp, getting back to really building. That's where the culture starts. Training camp. It don't start in the middle of the season, third quarter. Nah, it starts in training camp. That's when you really set the mood for the season, right? I like to see them really battle it out in training camp, especially when they're younger, man, because I want to see these young guys eat. I want to see, everybody. I want to see, especially Bilal. Year 3, you want to see him take that next gear, kicking in the high gear, man. Looking at Bub, looking at Sarr, looking at Keyshawn George, AJ Johnson. I want to see them really, really fight in training camp. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Definitely add another center because looking at the situation right now, we're probably going to get a top 3 pick. I would be very, very upset. I mean, it'd be, it is what it is. But if we got outside the top 3, I mean, obviously we want to get the first overall pick. Cooper Flag is right there for the taking. Generational player, not generational. I'd say franchise face type of prospect. But generational, you guys get in the comment section. That's a question for you guys. Would you consider Cooper Flag generational? Maybe in the mode of Zion Williamson. I mean, do you think he has that impact on the college NBA level? I mean, not so much NBA, but as far as hype hitting into the NBA level, you guys let me know. That is a valid question. So, again, looking at prospects, Cooper Flag is the guy. But if you're in the top 3, if you fall to 2 and 3, obviously looking at Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, top 5 is where it gets interesting. VJ Edgecombe, because at that point you're probably looking at the 2 guard, right? So you're looking at VJ Edgecombe, but me, I'm a Trey Johnson guy. He's just 180 pounds, 6'6". Telling you, I think Trey Johnson is the best 2 guard in this draft, even though I do like VJ Edgecombe and obviously Dylan Harper. But the question is, we prospectively do have the 27th overall pick as our second first round pick in this upcoming draft. Should we target center? Yes. But before I get into that, there is one scenario I'm gonna throw at you guys. Now, if we were relegated to the 5th overall pick, who would be favoring trading back and maybe grabbing a center like Derek Queen out of Maryland? I mean, looking at Derek Queen, man, 6'9", 230 pounds, a big-bodied guy who can play center and power forward. Force down low in the paint, which we need, man. Nimble feet and a knack for scoring in the lane. I'm just saying, man, he's got good size, not great size, 6'9", as far as if you want to play center, but he would fit in nicely right next to Alex Sarr. So who would be in favor of that? I mean, that would be a scenario where, yeah, if you're intent on maybe grabbing a Trey Johnson, you go that route. But like I said, maybe you scale back, add another pick. Maybe you get a Derek Queen. So, but right now, like I said, definitely aim for that top 3. I don't want to panic. I don't want anybody to panic now. All right, so looking at the 27th overall, and right now it could be subject to change, obviously, with the final standings. But who are some people I'm looking at? One guy really pops in my mind right now. Danny Wolf out of Michigan, 7-footer, 255 pounds. And looking at the scouting report, his comparison is Frank Kaminsky. Now, Frank Kaminsky, it was more of a traditional big, good rebounder, shot blocker, guy that, lob threat, yes, but I wouldn't expect too much out of him as far as offensive, you know, what he can do offensively. So, more traditional guy. Now, looking at Danny Wolf out of Michigan, like I said, looking at scouting report, a very nimble, quick feet, skill center who can move like a guard than a big. So he can move in transition, right? Has good passing vision and a nice outside shot, but can be a bit turnover prone. So, I mean, I'm not expecting the brother man to bring the ball up, so I'm not too worried about the proneness to turnovers because in my mind he shouldn't be anywhere bringing the ball up. Or as far as ball control, probably in a pick and roll, pick and pop. But saying that, I think he's a nice prospect. I think you definitely add a guy at the 27th overall pick who can play center, another 7-footer, and really push Tristan Vucevic because look, like I said, earn that spot. I think that Tristan Vucevic could be the answer. I think he could definitely be the future at backup center. But here's the thing: if you here's another scenario to look at, right? Come on now. If you want to potentially move Alex Sarr to the power forward, then you got a 7-footer when you got a nice combo between him and Vucevic. So there's possibilities because the thing is, when you look at what Will Dawkins is trying to do, is you're not, obviously 3-and-D players, players who can stretch the floor and defend at a high level. But what else? Versatility is the name of the game. Versatility is what the NBA is the foundation of the NBA now. Versatility. People who can play more than one position. And when you look at, Sarr, maybe you plug and play and put him at the power forward for a year and see how he does, man. I mean, we're still early on in the process. So if you, maybe pack on 5 pounds on him of muscle, let him go out there in power forward, and maybe you bring in a guy to 20. Because look, if you potentially bring in a guy like Danny Wolf, you got 2 intriguing prospects at center, both 7-footers, both can stretch the floor, both can defend. All right. Then you got Sarr at the 4, and then depending on what you do. Now, that's a big question, right? It always goes back to where we go with the first pick. Now, if you give a Cooper Flag, you're probably not going power forward. You got your power forward. But like I said, if you do not go to get the first overall pick, and you probably go guard, or you probably go Ace Bailey. So my thing is if you get the second or third picks, you're definitely going Harper or Bailey. But if you go to top 5, Edgecombe, I do like him. But like I said, his comparisons with Jalen Green, D Wade, and Oladipo, so not bad comparisons. And I'm saying he would be a bad prospect, but to me, I just think that Trey Johnson has the edge. So that's the route I would go, guys. You definitely get in the comment section and let me know what you think, because I think that we have a lot of options and there's no guarantees. Like I said, right now we're 9-45, but there's no guarantee that we get the first overall pick. And if it's Cooper Flag or bust, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're going to get your heart broken. There's only a 14% chance that we get Cooper Flag. And obviously we get him, then you got a guy who's going to really change the trajectory of this franchise. But if you don't, you got to act accordingly. You got to plan accordingly. And like I said, if you get the second or third, you go Harper or Bailey. You get whoever's not at 2, or, who you value at 2. If you guys know what I'm saying. But if you get top 5, then it changes the dynamics and it really changes the scouting board as far as what it was willing to do. Do you trade back? That is a possibility because, like I said, you got a guy who could fit that mold with Derek Queen out of Maryland. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Derek Queen. So, and then with the 27th overall pick, a lot of possibilities because there's really a lot of good prospects in the later stages of the first round. That's how deep this draft is. And there's other prospects, man. If we trade back, looking at Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown, 6'10", Kamen Malok, out of Duke, 7'2". I'm just trying to tell you guys, man. So 7'2" with SR to 4. I still there's possibilities, but it really depends on the final position, right? Once the lottery has came and gone, where we really know where we're at, because right now it's tough to really cement ourselves as this flag. And you can't really say we don't look at further moves at power forward because it's not guaranteed we get flag. And you could go guard in this draft. And then that shows that how important you have to utilize a deep draft, because even with 27th overall, look, we got Keyshawn George where 24th, and he's already shown that he could be a high impact contributor for this team long term. And then when you look at the fact that AJ Johnson carries a lot of potential, 23rd. So you have 2 blue chip prospects who you got in the later stages of the first round. Like I said, obviously AJ Johnson was drafted here, but you practically got another first round pick. And he already shown that he could hit pay dirt not only in the later stages of the first round with Keyshawn George, but in the second round with Tristan Vucevic. So, these later first round picks, they matter because this is a deep draft, man. And we were able to hit in a weak draft. So as I tell y'all, trying to tell you, let Will Dawkins cook. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get in the comments and we're gonna start this Friday night like we always do. Like I said, appreciate you guys. It is Valentine's Day and very long week for me, but kind of felt bad because I know some of y'all might be with your honey, man. So definitely understand if you're not watching the video. But like I said, definitely happy Valentine's Day to everybody, man. So definitely hope everybody's having a blessed day. So let's knock these comments out and then we can start our night off right. Okay. So let's get into before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NFL or the NBA action, Lord Hammers is just getting started. And there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because with FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you missed the opening tip-off or want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. If you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets in the same game parlay. And that's what I roll with, man. I'm a big same game parlay fan. I do it all the time. Did it on the Super Bowl. Basketball season, got baseball season coming up so baseball is definitely where I make my money, man. So like I said, right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. All right, everybody, let's get into it. Let's get into comments, man. Let's start this thing off right. And like I said, definitely appreciate everybody, man, who rode with your boy on Valentine's Day. And like I said, if you're watching this video later, I get it, man. Like I said, but to hang out with the wife as soon as I end this thing, man. So definitely appreciate everybody who definitely took some time out of your Friday night, man, and on Valentine's Day to rock with your boy, man. So let's get into this. And J World, what's up, sis? I really think a lineup of Bub, Poole, Bilal, Flag, and Sarr would win 30 games as soon as next year. Brogdon, Smart, Middleton, Keyshawn, and Vucevic would be a top 5 bench in the league. I agree, man. I do agree with that. I mean, that's a nice possibility if you add Flag. That is probably, I'm with you on that. Smart, Brogdon, Middleton. Now, I'll say this. Next year, Brogdon ain't going to be here. He's an aspiring contract. So I'll probably see, let's see. With Brogdon gone, you have Smart. I think that's where you kind of plug in AJ Johnson, in my opinion. So you're looking at Bub starting to Poole the 2 guard. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Red Wings 01 says Colby does bring more guard depth, which is always good. Very young, only in his second year. Still didn't expect much from him, but he should get more opportunities. Yeah, I agree 100%. I like Colby Jones. Very intriguing. I think he's definitely part of the future. Look, depth is a beautiful thing, and I think he definitely adds another young prospect to the depth of the overall depth of this team, man, especially at guard and forward, man. So like I said, Ginsberg is a guy who, if they go to Denny route, could be on the move. So like I said, there could be, look, Will Dawkins ain't done. He is not done. He's going to make further moves, especially in the offseason. Middleton, depending on how he performs in the second half of the season, same thing with Marcus Smart, could be flipped in the offseason. And there's still expiring contracts next year anyway, so then we're not handcuffed long term. But you definitely want to, and you do need veteran leadership. And so I wouldn't be in a hurry to, get off their contracts because they're expiring after next year. So they're not going to weigh you down long term. We're probably not going to make much noise next year. I mean, I do agree with J World. Can we win 30 games with Flag? Absolutely. Hopefully, but don't get it twisted either. He turned 18 this year at Duke, man. So he's very, very young. So I would definitely not want to put too much on him if we get him. Like I said, a lot of possibilities, but but getting back to Colby Jones, man. I think that he do well in the second unit, but like I said, it really depends on Middleton and my guy Marcus Smart. Let's see. Jay Rose said I haven't seen enough of Colby, but I like AJ's game. AJ can handle that rock, man. And he's a baller, man. I love what I see from AJ Johnson. And he also says Bub and Keyshawn have been looking very good the last 5 games. I look, Bub Carrington, man. I'm trying to tell you, once he figures it out consistently, and he's been playing good basketball, especially scoring the rock, man. Especially with him 3-point attempts, man. Look, Bub is the sleeper of this draft. I'm trying to tell you. And then Keyshawn, same thing. We got him at 24th overall. Keyshawn can play the ball. Just give him the minutes, man. So Will Dawkins he has hit on every pick. Bilal, he's hit. In my opinion, Vucevic, he's hit, especially being a second round pick. So, Two-Paul Boxing, how you doing, man? I'm excited to see Colby and more of AJ. Keyshawn's getting stronger every day. Bilal, Bub, and Sarr are rising stars. Absolutely. The future is bright for all. The future is bright in the 202, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, man. The fact that we have Bilal, Bub, and Sarr in the rising stars tells you a lot of where we're headed. We have a nice young core. The next 2 drafts, especially the 2025 NBA draft, we hit this draft pick, man, is a high impact player, man. And we are definitely going to be a better team and definitely hit it in the right direction a lot sooner than later, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. Let's see. J. Rose says if we don't get Edgecombe or Flag, I'll be upset. Yeah, I do like Edgecombe. Like I said, but to me, the best two guard, if you're going to go two guard, and if you're not in a position to get Dylan Harper or even Ace Bailey, because if you get Ace Bailey, you probably relegating Bilal Coulibaly to the two guard, then you got to roll Trey Johnson. Because to me, Trey Johnson, but Edgecombe is not too far behind, in my opinion. And you can argue to a certain degree outside of just height. To me, the height difference. I like, especially a two guard. I like taller two guards. 6'5" to me is the ideal. You can get away with a 6'4", but in the NBA, you kind of want a point to be 6'2" or above, man. This is me. 6'5", 6'6", I think is a really good height for a two guard. So to me, Trey Johnson is where I lean, but I like Edgecombe too. Red Wings on One says another thing about Colby. He's much more shooting guard, which is less of a need than point guard for us. Yeah, I mean, and I like, I like the fact that, again, kind of like what I was saying before, the height. I like his height, 6'5", 6'6". He's a very intriguing prospect at two guard on the second unit, man. So I like to see more. But like I said, I would not be too upset if they decided to put him on the go-go and give him extended minutes. Let him do his thing with the go-go, and then, depending on injury or opportunities, definitely to see what he can do at the NBA level. But let's see. J. Rose says Dylan Harper would be fine too, but Flag is who we need. Yeah, Flag is definitely who we need, but I think you cannot strike out in the top 3. You can't do it. Even the top 5, you can't strike out. And even then, the top 10, you can't strike out. You're going to find a high impact player in the top 10. Now, obviously, top 3, you're looking at a guy who could be a face. Top 5, you're looking at a guy who can be a high level role, or kind of a guy who can accompany a number one option. So, but once you get into 6 to 10, these are guys going to be high impact, but you're probably looking at a starter role guy. You know what I mean? But like I said, they're going to contribute at the highest level. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for that franchise guy like the Wizards are, then you have to hit top 3. You have to, because you need a guy who's going to come in and have that immediate impact. Because do you still draft for potential? Absolutely. But then looking at this draft, you got potential and you have guys who can contribute right away. Now, Cooper Flag can get better. Dylan Harper can get better. Ace Bailey can get better, but they're going to have immediate impact. Same thing with Edgecombe. I haven't seen too much of Liam McNeely. I'm going to check him out tonight. And Kasparis Jakunin. I'm going to jack his name up, but the kid out of Illinois. So I kind of like him too. But like I said, guys, we're going to look at every angle at this draft coming up, man. Let's see. Tupac Boxing says, shout out to the Go-Go. Whoop, whoop. Let's see. He also says that hat is like that. Man, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I'm a hat head, man. So a baseball season coming up, so I definitely got my eyes on some more fitteds for the Nationals and my O's, man. Jay World says we have too much depth at the 3 and the 4. Shinpenny, Kispert, Sadiq Bey are all too good not to play. Might as well trade one. I agree 100%, man. And Sadiq Bey is just a very intriguing situation because I think he could be a contributor. But then you can look at a scenario where it's like, man, if you get that. If you get the deal you like, then you make that move. It's just, and this is what I'm saying. We're in a good spot. We have a lot of young talent. You can argue too much to a certain degree, especially after this draft coming up. It's 2 first-round picks. You're going to have an overabundance of talent. So it's kind of a situation for you baseball fans out there, like looking at the Nationals, right? Well, all the prospects they have. And even then, a better degree than the Orioles, where they have so many prospects to where they have to start looking to package some of these guys to go get an ace, starting pitcher, right? Or some bullpen help. So, to a certain degree, you got to start, see who is part of the future and who is not. So Shinpenny, I think he's a keeper, man. Kispert, love me some Kispert, man. Like I said, good locker room guy, sniper, high basketball IQ. But then, with him and Sadiq Bey, you can see a scenario where if they get the deals too good to pass up, you probably make that deal. So we find ourselves in a good position, man. This is a really good position because we have options. We haven't always had options in DC. We've been handcuffed by Supermax contracts or by really bad GMs, man, in Ernie Grunfeld and Tommy Shepard. And I think that Tommy Shepard wasn't a bad drafter. He just didn't draft for the state of the team was in. Tommy Shepard, he drafted for immediate need, and the guys he drafted needed to be developed. So you need to flip that. You need to find guys you need to develop who may not be ready to have an impact early on, even though you're starting to see a major impact by Bilal Coulibaly, and he's in year 2. So like I said, these guys are developing quick, and a lot of that has to do with what? You're finding guys who are easily coachable. And also, here goes Brian Keefe. The MO with him is what? Development, right? So, Red Wings on One says, Flag is obviously the grand prize, but the number one pick is no guarantee. Absolutely. As long as we walk away with one of Flag, Harper, or Bailey, I'm happy. If we fall out of the top three, that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I definitely expect top three. I want top three. I mean, we need one of those three, but you fall out of the top three, there's options. There's options. But like you said, your top three are guys who could be franchise cornerstone type of players, man. Once you get to top five, you're looking at guys, Edgecombe, Trey Johnson could definitely be complementary starters, man, to, be a second or a third option potentially in a young team, man. But once you go 6 to 10, then you're looking at guys who can be very high upside role guys and could definitely be an average starter. But then once you get in later stages, then, it varies. You can find diamonds in the rough in the second half of the first round. So, like I said, nothing's impossible, man, but nothing's guaranteed also. Because we still waiting on Zion Williamson to really live up to his draft. And he's not the only one, man. So, like I said, nothing is guaranteed in the draft. Let's see. Two-Ball Boxing says, center Danny Wolf from Michigan, a quicker Jokic. I love the comparison. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good comparison. Danny Wolf, man, I'm telling you, if you target Danny Wolf out of Michigan with our second first round pick, man. Let's see. Bam. Twoxel, I think that's what it says. You like Flag over Bailey? He cool, but I would never forgive this franchise if we pass on Ace. Bro, going to be a star. But Harper fits as a big guard. Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And that's what I'm saying, man. At number one, do I prefer Flag over Bailey? Yeah, because of fit. Because I think that if you add him to power forward, he's athletic, he can shoot, he can stretch the floor, he can defend. If you have a defensive lineup 3 through 5 of Bilal, Flag, and Sar, I think that's the basis of a championship team, especially if you feel the right amount of talent around them. I think that is a good front court to win a championship because it's defensive minded. All these guys have high offensive potential, very raw, but that's why I go Flag at 1. Now, 2 or 3, and here's the thing though, you can argue to a certain degree that Flag, Bailey, and Harper, all of them could be the number one pick. I mean, obviously a lot of people do favor Flag over the other two, but like I said, it really depends on the need. Whoever gets that number one pick, what do you need? You can see any of those three go number one, and then whoa, that really changes the dynamics of the draft, man. But like I said, those three, I think any of the three could go number one. I think the biggest thing you want to see, especially, or not really, especially all three of them, is the NCAA tournament. That's where you really see who's number one through number three, because look, the NCAA tournament, it's not like when you play Monmouth. Nothing against Monmouth. I'm just saying, it's just an example. But when you're playing small schools, the NCAA tournament is when you find people where they're really at, when they can really play under those bright lights, man. When you can play in those clutch moments, the big games. During the course of an NCAA season, I mean, you can see some things, but you're not going to see what these guys are made of when you get into those bright lights of the Elite Eight, the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I want to see who really takes. And like I said, Rutgers, they're in a position where they can do some things. And of course, Duke, they're always in it. So, Flag is definitely going to get the exposure. So I think that's another reason why you kind of get a leg up, because his exposure is a lot more than an Ace and Dylan, man, out of Rutgers, because Rutgers doesn't carry the same clout as Duke does. It's just it is, man. It is what it is. Let's see. I think a lot of people agree. Let's see. Tupac Boxer says 6'8" point guard Dink Pate in G League is another one to watch in a second, if not higher. I agree 100%. Yeah, I was looking at him too. I definitely agree with that. All right, we got a question tonight. Mara84 says, do we have the right coach going forward, because we need this young talent to develop? As far as the developmental standpoint, absolutely. Now, don't forget that he is a first-time head coach. It's one thing to be an assistant. It's another thing to run your own staff. So he's still learning to be a head coach. But the biggest thing with BK is development. He is one of the best coaches in the NBA when it comes to development. He's developed Hall of Fame talent. So if you're looking for a guy who's going to motivate, hold young players accountable, and help develop these guys, he's the right one. Now, could you see a situation like the Philadelphia 76ers had with Brett Brown, where he was more of a developmental head coach, and when they decided to compete, go out there and get the headliner? Yeah. But I think you give him the opportunity, he can show what he can do. And I think you give him more than one season. This is his first full season. So you give him a couple of years. So you're probably looking at after next year, if you don't see the progress you want to make, then, maybe the organization makes a decision. But I think that you definitely give him the opportunity to prove that he could be that guy. And if not, then you make you act accordingly. So let's see, guys. All right, so we're going to do one more. Definitely appreciate everybody, man. And it's my guy, Alan. What's up? And says, does anyone think Kispert is a good trade candidate, or do we keep him We are clogged at the 2 and 3. I mean, his contract's not going away. It's down. He's a good locker room guy, high basketball IQ, sniper, slash the basket. He's got a skill where, he moves without the basketball, which apparently is a forgotten skill in the NBA. But I think you're in a position where you could keep him or trade him. You're in a good spot. If you have a clear replacement, you make that move. That's my thing. You don't want to give away a shooter. You just don't want to, and you don't want to just have one shooter. You got Keyshawn, and if you go power forward in the draft, Keyshawn's going to be relegated to the bench. I don't think you just make it to where you have one shooter. I think you make it interesting. A potential lineup with Keyshawn George and Corey Kispert. That's a deadly lineup, especially on a good night. So, oh my God, Guru Strong, how you doing? Not buying the Cooper Flag hype. Okay, Adam Morrison making draft Ace. Like I said, I like Ace. I do like Ace Bailey. I think that again, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Cooper Flag, all three could be the number one. And it really depends on need. Like I said, but don't get it twisted. Ace Bailey's a baller, man. I mean, his comparisons. I'm trying to tell you, the kid, he's going to be good. He's going to be good, and I think he could do well in DC. I think Dylan Harper could do well in DC. I think Cooper Flag, and that's the thing. We're in a good spot, man. We're in a good spot, really good spot, because we already got a young core. We already got a young foundation, and we're just looking for that one high impact guy. Like we know we're going to get a top 3, hopefully not top 5. But I'm just saying, we are in a good position, so we have choices, and we have the ability to, no matter what, we're going to walk away with a franchise altering player. So we're in a good spot, guys, in a very deep draft, and you still got a first round pick in the second half. So you can still go and add depth at center, or wherever you need depth. So like I said, guys, we're in a good position. So, all right, guys, like I said, I'm not going to hold anybody up for Valentine's Day. I know that. Definitely shout out to everybody to rock with your boy today. And like I said, I don't see all of the usual people in here. So, like I said, I know it's Valentine's Day, man. So like I said, spend time with a wife, girlfriend, or I ain't judging, but whatever. But, definitely appreciate you guys, man. Rock with your boy tonight, man. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys on Sunday. We're going to do mid-season grades, man. So we're going to grade out everybody how their performance was in the first half of the season, including General Manager Will Dawkins and head coach Brian Keefe. Nobody's exempt now. All right, everybody have a blessed night. Hail to the Wizards, and peace.